Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us on the road again, second day in a row, this time in beautiful Alexandria, Louisiana. And, of course, we're at Hixson Autoplex, and we'll be here until about 11 o'clock. We want to thank always Central Broadcast and 970 AM, and, of course, our good friends. Oh, God, in this area, man, we've got a lot of them, and we do appreciate them all. Anyway, we'll be here until 11 o'clock. A lot of stuff to cover. Dallas, I'm sure, will join us sometime during the course of the morning, and it's great to be with you. All right, before we get to Supreme Court and all that stuff, I'm still kind of stuck on what's going on in Baton Rouge, and there was an article, and I want to share this with you. There's an article in the Advocate that says basically talking about taxes and things of this nature. What do new industrial tax exemption program rules mean? Okay. And how it's going to affect us. More power to states' tax authorities. Mark Ballard put the article together. Now, I'm not going to get in here and read the whole article and feel safe about that, folks. I'm not going to do that. But I do want to talk about a comment that was made in this article, and I've been preaching this for a while. Okay? You've been convinced by the governor and the Advocate and the Times-Picayune, Jim Beam, and Greg Hillman, Gannett newspapers that, boy, if we can just have stability in state government, God knows everything's going to be falling from the sky. One more good tax on the good people here and the citizens, we're going to have prosperity like you never lived. That's what they've been telling us since the governor came in. And I've been telling you it doesn't work that way. And I've been telling you the businesses prospering and doing well here is how you have plenty of tax money. Nobody wants to listen. Since 2004, state government's grown twice that of our economy. Our GDP's been negative. Y'all heard all that, and all that stuff I've been right on. But anyway, let me go to somebody else. This was in the Advocate. John Bel Edwards' executive order slowed down business development. Let me repeat that again for you people in Balkanville and for Jay Darden. John Bel Edwards' executive order slowed down business development. He signs orders without knowing consequences. I don't think they give a dang, really. They think that, we can just stabilize government. We can buy votes and stay in office. But anyway, the article goes on to say it will take a long time to get these jobs back. Companies looking for a place to invest hundreds of millions of dollars need greater certainty, not government stability, business certainty. People that invest in businesses, folks, want to know, can they make a profit? Can they get their money back? It's a business they can prolong. Can I hire people? Companies looking for a place to invest hundreds of millions of dollars need greater certainty, said Connie P. Fabre, Executive Director of the Greater Baton Rouge Industrial Alliance. She noted, now listen to this, they went back and looked at the numbers. She noted the number of advance notice applications fell 35% when comparing to 21 months before Edwards' executive order and 21 months after. Correspondingly, the amount of planned investment dropped by 66%, and the number of proposed new jobs fell 64%. The governor doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. That's why Jay Darden was a major mistake to put there as the Advocate, and all these people brag, boy, look at the guy we got here. This guy's smarter than God. And I try to tell y'all, mega liberal, social, money-wise, liberal. And what they're saying right here is what I've been preaching for a while. And I've been preaching it. I like to believe I've been teaching it, but nobody's learning, so I've been preaching it. Acts preachers, they preach things in the congregation. We don't do nothing, so I'm preaching it. This is what's been going on. He's doing things he doesn't have a clue. Well, if he doesn't have a clue, who's advising him? Jay Darden, John Alario. This is in the Advocate today. He doesn't know what he's doing. He signs executive order. He does all this kind of stuff, and he really doesn't know what he's doing. Raising taxes is all you hear from him because he doesn't know what he's doing. It's lack of leadership. But he's listening to somebody, he's listening to Darden, and he's listening to John Alario. Yesterday on this program, and I got a bunch of emails, I had Senator Barrow Peacock. By the way, that was a really good time. Great American Base was really put on a good show. The company Conserva Irrigation, I want to thank them. for putting that on. I mean, they put the money up, and I do appreciate them doing what they did. Boona coffee was really good. Boona bean coffee was really good. Actually, my wife hadn't had a chance to taste it yet, but I want to thank those folks, and, of course, Keel for putting that together. So yesterday we were on a program, and, of course, Dodie Representative Seaball came by, Barrow Peacock came by, and Ron Gaddy came by, but didn't have enough time to stick him on there. I did offer him any time he wanted next week because I got a lot of questions for Gaddy. But Barrow Peacock came. I like Senator Peacock personally. This is not personal. It's not. See, I got my whistle back. He wasn't there. So Peacock came on there, and I mentioned John Alario. As you know, John Alario has been running the show now for 40-something years. He's sitting in all important spots. Speaker of the House, Senate President. And nothing's been fixed. Actually, it's made it worse. When Barrow Peacock, Senator Peacock, started taking up for Alario that how good he is at understanding the Senate and understanding the rules and how the Senate works, my email, I didn't realize was going nuts with people going, is this guy joking? Is this guy for real? Is he really going to be reelected? Defending John Alario and his government style, for style and points for being able to bring people together. And I mean, I didn't get ripped. He was getting ripped. And these people were upset going, how in the world can that guy say that and defend him? And that's the problem. You know, Alario, trust me on this, Alario, Francis Thompson, Big Lake Fannin, all leftist liberals. By the way, some of them got Republican by their name. And Jay Darden, somebody's been in this guy's ears, and probably the Black Caucus. And for Peacock to defend Alario is laughable. And I was trying to tell him that. You're talking about no substance, how we deal with people, how you run the Senate. He's an expert on that. Yep, and while we last in education and last in economy and last in this and last in that, I just tired of being last. See, I'm different. I'm tired of being last. I'm staying in the fight. Some people are tired of being last, live in Texas and Arkansas and Tennessee and all these other states. People tell me all the time they're going to retire there. They're going to get out. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting out. I'm just going to fight it. But we need more people to fight for us. So yesterday, Senator Peacock is putting his foot in his mouth, defending John Alario on him being able to bring people together and understand how the Senate works and think, yeah, once again, we accepted a Senate budget. We've accepted a Senate budget 10 or 11 years in a row. And we've never gotten out of there. And now we just into this, let's raise taxes every session we can get. Alario's a problem, folks. He's a major problem. He's term limited, thinking about going back to the House. Francis Thompson already announced he's going back to the House. Clutch Walsworth been there for 12, whatever years. He's been there 16, 20 years. He's going back to the House. You know, at least in Neil Rice's case, he's going from the Senate to the House. It's a one-time deal. He ain't been there 400 years. But for Peacock to try to defend John Alario because he understands the Senate, he should. He understands the House, too. He understands the lawmaking thing, but it's amazing. If he's been so good, why are we lasting all these things? You can't defend a person like that. And yet the Times-Picayune put him as one of the winners because of his leadership. He don't have leadership. He knows how to negotiate things because he knows all the rules and the ways of playing the game. So he can negotiate people to get them to say and do what they want them to do and vote the way they want them to vote. And all these Republicans, Ron Gaddy and the rest of them, support the man. And I told Peacock yesterday, you heard me say it, you voted for him. That was a bad vote. That was a horrendous vote. And by the way, in the Senate now, see, they made up this rule that it's not a public vote anymore, although that's unconstitutional. Once they're elected, it's a public vote because they represent the people. You can't. That should have made people lose their minds. And some of these Republicans will be term limited in the Senate. We better make sure you put some real people in there. Okay, real people. I'm talking about real people that's going to fight for us, not the Page Cortez and these lightweights. They got people in their back pocket, money-wise, business people in their back pocket. They do everything they say they're going to do. They control people like that. I mean, they're just weak. They just have no guts and no courage to do anything. Alario knows the game. Barrel Peacock has bought it hook. I'm talking about hook, sinker, everything. He's dragged down and bit into it and believing that man, some kind of way, because he knows how to manipulate people. He knows how to manipulate the process. Some kind of good guy, good leader. And he's not. And I don't mind if I sit across from John Alario one day on the air, I will tell him, you've not been a leader. You've been a negotiator. And you got these people food thinking you're doing something, and he's not. And Barrel Peacock's fell for it, left, and, every way possible. But I just shared with you an article in The Advocate. Bell Edwards doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't understand the consequences. The oil and gas industry is a great example. One of my buddies got 11 land rigs. They're all stacked. They're not working. And look at the price of oil. We'll take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on the road again, in conjunction with our good friends at Central Broadcasting. And, of course, Hixson Autoplex, HixsonHasIt.com. Hixson located here in Leesville and, of course, in Monroe, Louisiana. Great location, great guys. Dallas and them do a wonderful job. Representative Lance Harris, one of the losers. Don't laugh. I had Alex Seaball on. I called him a loser. And I do that because the guys that actually stood up for the most part were the winners in my book. And the winners, everybody I'm going to is mad what happened at the session. Now, I know y'all are happy to get the heck out of it. I understand that. I understand some Republicans went the other way. But my point being is the people I'm talking to, real people, business owners, they're kind of disappointed in what happened. I was at a baseball game Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember when. And somebody said, man, I can't believe they voted for that. And one of them's wife was a school teacher, and she was just disheartened about the whole thing. And but anyway, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's probably good to see Alec again.
It is. And look, talking about losers, Times Picayune is one saying all that stuff.
Well, an advocate said some. They put it like you, Cameron, because Taylor did what he did, and I've already talked to Taylor about that. You, Cameron, and Seaball, with a main three, they kind of try to bleed and butcher everywhere.
Right, and the taxpayer. Remember, they put the Louisiana taxpayer as a loser in that same column.
So you and me. I'm with you.
Yeah. So look, I'm proud to be a loser with the taxpayer. I went down swinging, and unfortunately, it didn't work out the way that I would have liked personally to see it. I think it was at the lower level to fund government, but unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. But remember, we went from $1.2 billion to $995 to $600. If we wouldn't have been fighting all the way, this could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, and let me tell you how it could have been even worse. They got 500. Let's just use the number 500. I don't know if it's 496 or 5. It doesn't matter. 500. Remember, though, the state was able to get $300 and now $46 or $50 million in income taxes.
Coming right out of your pocket.
That's right. So that goes to 8-something in higher tax. Now, you didn't vote for that, but I'm just saying it came to that. But my point being is, if we would have listened to Bell Edwards, they tried to get the $1.2 billion or the $900-something million way before the income tax. Then they were hoping that would come in, too.
Right.
People forget that. I don't forget that because that's what they did. They wanted twice what they got or at least another $400 million.
That's right.
So my question to you is, if they settle for this, what are we going to do with the other $400 million?
Well, they're going to need it in the future for the expanded Medicaid. And just that philosophy that wants to grow government thinks that the government is the answer to everything. That's the problem. There's two philosophies down in Baton Rouge. One wants to control the size of government, which controls your taxes, which gives you more freedom to spend your money how you want to. The other philosophy wants to grow government, which in turn takes a lot of taxes, which in turn reduces your choices of how you want to spend your money. And that's what the fight is about. That's in raw details. It's one philosophy grows government, the other philosophy controls government.
Well, let me ask a question. A couple quick questions. Can you tell me we have a 7-year stability budget?
No.
I think that's the dumbest headline I saw.
Yeah.
But they're all saying that now. The press is playing on that mantra that 7 years now we go, hey, it's glorious prosperity now.
Well, just go back and look at the fiscal statements that are given to JLCB every monthly meeting. They show a huge deficit for next year. This $400 million that was raised, $495. How's that going to apply? Let me ask you a question. Are they counting on the internet sales tax? Which, by the way, articles this may take 6 months or 2 years.
I'm telling you, I'm not in that order. So I had to listen to other people, and they said, man, they're already charging the Louisiana state tax.
Yeah, some are voluntarily doing it. That is correct. That's correct. I saw that.
Maybe not every item, but some people already know it.
Exactly.
But number two is, what is the projection on what that may bring in?
Yeah, well, you heard the economists say it could have been anywhere from 300 to 800 million a year or two ago. Then they kind of backed that off the last day of session, or that last Friday that we were scheduled to vote on this sales tax bill. Of course, they came out and backed off of that figure. So I don't know what that's going to be.
But it's going to be a number?
Oh, it's going to be a number. There's no question about it. So,
but they must be counting on that coming in.
It is. And look, what we have to do next year, we're going to come back and fight just as hard. We have to keep fighting for the reforms that have to take place, the spending reforms. Those things like Medicaid expansion, we have to make sure that's an efficient program. Just in that, the articles this week said that our own legislative auditor is saying just how inefficient they are.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to fight.
But the governor, and I call them co-governors, they're fighting against that every step of the way. They don't want to touch Medicaid. They just want to make sure they keep dumping the money in there.
Right, every step of the way. I mean, we had two great reform bills that Governor Edwards vetoed that made it through the process, one by Edmonds, one by Bacala. So they don't want to see that reform take place because they want to grow government. It's just that simple. They need that money to grow the Medicaid program. They know it's coming. We have to start making the match. It's going to send this state into financial ruin if it's not reformed in some manner.
What was fixed? Let me back up. Was education now fixed? The unfunded accrued liability now fixed? We fixed roads? What was fixed?
Nothing.
What was changed?
Really.
What was changed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you tell me something that was really I'm not talking about from y'all side where y'all were able to tweak some things, but I mean from their side. What did they fix? What did they change? Does it mean we got budget surpluses all of a sudden from I mean, just everything's going to go great now?
That's the question. I mean, we every day.
But there's nothing that was fixed.
Right. Well, I just read today an article where Louisiana was second from the bottom in raising children. Yeah. I mean, we're low in the bottom of everything. Something has not been right for the last 90 years. And guess what? We need to change.
But we haven't changed. I know y'all had some things that he vetoed out he shouldn't have, and I know there's some things y'all still working on. But if they don't ever grasp the concept of changing those things, they're not going to change anything. Lance Harris, Representative Harris, my special guest. We'll visit with him in a few more minutes. I think Dallas said he was cutting commercials, huh? All right, good. He's beautifying a commercial, I guess. We'll get back to him a little later. Hixson Autoplex is where we are in Alexandria. HixsonHasIt.com. HixsonHasIt.com. We'll be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Boy, I tell you what, I got to get this to send it to you. Young lady. You notice I said young lady. Came over here and gave me a shirt and said, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. Look at that. Huh?
Yep.
That's a Bell Edwards re-election campaign shirt. Hey, for women. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take a picture and put that out there and put Bell Edwards campaign deal. Anyway, 844-766-6607, Hixson is at hotline. Of course, we're at Hixson Autoplex. 3 great locations in Leesville, Monroe, and Alexandria, Louisiana. And, of course, we're here in conjunction with our good friends at Central Broadcasting. Representative Lance Harris was instrumental in everything that was going on in the legislative session. Lance, take us through, and you could do it because you experienced it. I didn't, okay? I just get cursed and they use big F words on me. Take us through the process of what's happening behind closed doors. You don't have to mention a name. Of how you guys are really attacked, and you really are attacked, in kind of a vicious attack when y'all are not doing what big government wants you to do.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that, because I don't think people understand the number of calls y'all getting, the emails you're getting, the hate mail you're getting, all that stuff for trying to do the right thing.
Right. And look, it only happens.
Don't tell me it doesn't weigh on you, because it does. And it weighs on Byron, it weighs on everybody.
It does. Look, within the walls of the Capitol is where it happens, because there are no taxpayers there representing themselves. It's all the bureaucrats, the department heads, everybody in here singing the song about all this gloom and doom and Armageddon if the governor doesn't get all the money.
By the way, how much of that happened?
Yeah.
0.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. Nothing happened. So, and that's what we kept saying. The message was consistent. Look, it's always the same. All this doom and gloom unless we get every penny we want. It is very hard. But look, you got to understand that the House Republican delegation held their line right up to the end, and then it was split. I get all that. But the House was against, and the Speaker did a good job because he was against the governor. The governor was against him. The Senate was against him. All the bureaucrats were against him. The departments against him. That's exactly right. So look, there was a lot of pressure there. I think Speaker Balrod did a really good job because we could have ended up with a lot more had we not had a strong speaker in place and had the wherewithal to hold some of this off. So it is a very intense environment. A lot of things happen. But I'm going to tell you here locally in my district, other than
that ain't what you hear.
No, other than the people that rely on the state of Louisiana for their income and for services, their business, to thrive. Everybody was on our side saying, hold the line, hold the line, hold the line. It's time to change. We need to make cuts. It's time to change. Do something different. This has not worked for the last 90 years. Let's try something different. So I got a lot of support. And look, I'm just like Seaball. Whenever that second session crashed, I got more calls from all over Louisiana thanking us for holding the line.
Alan made me laugh yesterday. He said, "Man, I got 50 calls from Ruston thanking for y'all doing what you're doing because we don't have a representative here." Somebody talking about Rob Shadron, who I laugh at every day. I hate raising taxes, so I'm going to vote for every one of them.
I got a bunch of calls from Ruston, too. So.
Yeah, the people in Ruston's going, we elected what? And that's not nothing to do with you, but I'm just saying, I kind of look at the big picture, and that's why I wanted you people to know that the bureaucrats really got ramped up, and it goes back, like you said, 90 years, and it goes back to the Longs. It's the same thing. Yeah, you guys tried to change it, and every time you try to change something, that's what makes it hard. They don't want anything to change, and if you don't change anything, it results in higher taxes, less jobs, out-migration. That's what we're watching. GDP negative. I mean, nobody can live through this. I mean, we're gonna have to change it.
Well, we got to change some things, but let me give some positive reflection on what happened. We forced the issue, and now I think the public knows when the governor goes on TV and says Mama's going to get kicked out of the nursing home, they call BS on that. When the governor or his minions go on and say we're going to let 10,000 people out of the prisons, that I think the public says BS on that. So we've made some progress. Now it's time to quit talking about the ifs and the who's and talking about what. What is it that we need to do in the state of Louisiana to fix the problems? And then everybody work toward that. And that's going to be reform this next session. We've got to take the reform to the next level, and it's got to be spending reform first. I've said that from the beginning, as have many of my co-parts in the House. We've got to do that first. We cannot continue to spend money like we do in the state of Louisiana without some type of accountability.
No, by the way, we're visiting with Representative Lance Harris. Lance, I know that, and you know that. And by the way, I think with all the special sessions, the big loser in this whole thing is the governor. And you kind of touched upon it because, hold up, Governor, you said nursing homes weren't going to be funded. You said hospitals weren't going to have people working in them. You said, and all that stuff didn't come true. The same thing he said when he was running, well, raising taxes is not something I want to do. Have you seen anything else he didn't want to do? And that's what's frustrating to me. But I think the average person sees this. So let me ask a question. Let's fast forward next year, and we got a deficit of $300 million. What's he going to do? Come back and raise some more taxes? Because with the economy, we can talk about all the taxes raised and the oil prices and the internet taxes. But if your GDP and our economy doesn't change, you could still have negative numbers. So my question is going to be, he's going to run on re-election if he got a surplus. But, Lance, if we got $300 or $400 million in surplus, wouldn't you say we probably raised too many taxes, about $300 or $400 million?
Absolutely. That's what we said this year that we're in right now, that ends June 30th. We have already $156 million excess. That means we're collecting too many tax dollars out of the public's pocket. That's what we've been saying all along. You ended up with a surplus last year. So we've got to balance that. But we have to make sure those spending reforms are in place, and it'll take care of it. So
how hard would that be when the governor I'm not going to say he got everything he wanted, because he wanted a lot more. I understand.
Right.
That. But how hard will that be with this governor? He's vetoed anything that's been decent.
Yeah, he
the
has.
Louisiana checkbook has been watered down, is what I've been told. Whether it has or not, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't went over it. Has that passed? Is that law now? Is that something people are going to be able to do, or that's going to be squandered?
It's good. It's a good start. Let's put it that way. It's something that we need to keep the light showing on government, and it's a good start. I think it's something that we need, and can it be better? Yes. Could it be better? Yes. But it's a start, and we'll be moving toward that. So that's a good reform. But we have to drill even deeper than that. Remember, we had some bills that would have allowed us to see things that the governor sees when he makes
Well, actually, didn't that pass the House and the Senate, and the governor vetoed a bill that would have gave y'all the same numbers to look at in the committees as he did?
He actually beat that. They actually beat that in committee. They lobbied against it, and it went down
Senate or House?
House committee. So, there's a lot, and those ideals will be coming back. We're going to keep on and keep.
Why didn't it get out the House committee?
Well, because they started lobbying it, and then we didn't have the members there to get it passed. That was Jay Morris's bill. But we had some other bills that had come out, just like I mentioned earlier, Backlaws and Edmonds and some other things that got vetoed by the governor for no really good reason. Other than to say we already had that in place, which we did not, and that was dealing with things like funded vacancies that we have to address at some point. Why do we have 2,200 funded vacancies in Louisiana and they never fill those jobs, but yet we fund them?
You fund them.
Yeah. I mean, that to me sounds like that could be a slush fund for the department.
Well, let me tell you what I think it is. Back in the first of the year, the governor was out there claiming that him and Jay Darden were claiming they cut $645 million out the budget. Now, remember, there was not one person protested. They didn't say nothing was going to close down. Not one hospital CEO came to see me. The nursing homes, the sheriffs never said anything because they weren't cuts.
Right.
They weren't cuts. They were transferring payments around, as you pointed out. The other day, I don't know if you knew this or not, because I know you read a lot, but you probably wanted to get away from it. The governor was taking credit for all the tax raising that they were doing. But he also said, and besides, Louisiana has $600 million in another basically tax cut. We cut Louisiana $600 million. But nobody got cut.
No.
But he made the statement. So if I add up the two from the first of the year now, he acts like they cut $1.2 billion out the budget.
Right.
Now look at me in my eyes and tell me he cut $1.
No. Look,
he didn't cut $1.2 billion.
The $600 million you referenced earlier, there was only an actual cut of about $117 million. The rest of it was, transfers.
But how can you say stuff like that?
Well, because they are allowed, the legacy media allows them to get away with it, and I think that they're basically lazy in performing their job and drilling down to the nitty gritty, and plus they want to defend that kind of philosophy. But look, this is not a reduction in taxes of the state of Louisiana. This is a new tax that was voted on.
Absolutely.
And we made that point clear all the way through. Look, I ran a tax bill, 0.33.
You did, I remember.
And I
asked you, why did you do that? Don't do that as a Republican.
Absolutely.
But you were compromising.
That's right. And so look, that was a new tax. I'll tell you right now, it wasn't a reduction of 0.7% of the tax. It was a new tax. And now this new tax is in place for 7 more years.
By the way, the 7-year thing's a joke. That tax is always going to be there, whether it's a sales tax or they move it into an income tax or they move it over here. You know good and well that the 1 cent sales tax that everybody agreed to when Edwards came in office, that tax went 2.5 years and boom, they wanted some more of that money. Once they get hooked on that money, it's no way after 7 years they're going to say, okay, give it back to you.
Right, and same way with federal matching funds and stuff. That's like crack cocaine. I mean, everything that the bureaucrats and stuff coming into the Capitol, we got to have our general fund dollars so we get the federal match, et cetera, et cetera. So just remember, the public needs to remember that we have the largest budget in the history of Louisiana.
And we do.
Today.
Yep.
The largest budget will start on July the 1st.
Yep.
And that is something that is incredible to me, that we just keep growing state government when the economy is shrinking.
The economy, it's not even half of what the government is. Now it's going the other way. Unless something changes this year, which, by the way, reading that thing that I just read on the air, I don't think anybody's thinking anything's going to change. Lance Harris, appreciate it. Representative Lance Harris, of course, one of the guys, I call him a loser because that's what the press did. Of course, the people they call him winner, John Bel Air was John O'Leary. I'm laughing at them. But anyway, we got to take a quick break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show. Don't go nowhere, folks.
Thank you, Moon.
All right, bub. Your opportunity to be a voice. Of course, we are at Hixson Autoplex. 3 great locations, Monroe, Leesville, and, of course, Alexandria, where we're broadcasting today. Now, I finally got him. What you doing? I saw you by my truck. You put a dent in my truck.
I did. You know what I've been doing? I've been filming commercials, and I stand out there because I'm a big celebrity, you know. And I go grapes, and they bring me grapes, and I go wine, and bring me coffee. No, I'm kidding.
No,
they ignore me. If I say that, they just look at me and they go, "What?"
What I thought you was doing is say, "Hey, folks, come buy one of these, but don't let this guy drive it. Look what he does in his vehicle."
Now my kids are still older, but they'll say, "Don't say the S word," which is shut up.
Yeah.
You know, so I look at my guys. I'm like, coffee. I'd like coffee on the set out here, and they look at me like, "Shut up and just do the commercial." And I'm like, "Makeup?" They're like, "Makeup? You don't need makeup. Shut up and do the commercial." So nobody pays any attention to me. I mean, I don't get any break. I feel like Bob Uecker. No, seriously, I feel like he's like, I must be on the back row. So I'm just, everybody ignores me. I'm just,
I'm not ignoring you.
I know. I appreciate you paying attention.
Man,
to me. You're the only guy.
I'm your number one fan.
I know you.
By the way, just to know,
you claim me as a friend.
I've had people ask. They say, when you going on your cruise, and I tell them the next question is, what days are Dallas doing the program? I said Friday the 13th.
That's absolutely right.
And Friday the 20th. I said, he's going to be on the show, and he better remember, because I'm not going to tell him. He said,
right.
Brandon already told me to get in touch with you, but I've already had people ask when you're going to be on the program. So how bad are y'all going to dog me while I'm gone?
Oh, it's going to be bad.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, what I want, Terry's over here, so Terry's going to come by in Lafayette. What I want to see is he's going to text a picture, and we can't look at it, because once you see that, you can't unsee it. I'm just saying. And so he's going to text a picture.
I'm not going to be in a pink Speedo in Alaska.
He's going to be in a pink Speedo on the cruise, and he's not going to text a picture. Somebody else will. I'm going to post it to the Facebook page to make sure everybody sees it.
Yeah, that's what we need, everybody to see me in a pink Speedo.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
You can't, it's like there's some things in the world you just can't unsee.
Yeah, you're right. That vision would be there. You couldn't even eat lunch again.
You can't unsee.
For years.
For example, you can't unsee you in a pink Speedo, but you also can't unsee the tax bill we get from the state of Louisiana. How about that?
Oh, no. No, and by the way, it just went up again.
Yeah.
Hey, I let you read that thing. I shared it with my audience, this article, and what the people are saying, that the governor has signed executive orders. They push things. They don't know what they're talking about. It's made the climate worse. Nobody wants to talk about that. We just did a session. I just had Lance on that. 1, 2, 3 special session, a regular session. Nobody talked about, we need to get our economy back on track. Nobody. No, because Lance and them are too busy fighting the massive tax increases. You don't do that when you have a negative GDP. I'm sorry. If you're not doing well in your business, you don't go, you know what, let's buy all new this and all new that. You figure out what it is.
You got to live within your means.
Yeah, you live within your means. You tighten your belt. You try to get across the line, and when you do and things get better, then you start doing stuff like that. Not down there, Dallas. And I feel bad for business people. I'm a small business guy. They're beaten up. Trump gives me a tax cut, and I go, yes! And they flash it.
You never even saw it.
Flash it at $346 million. They flash it in front of our faces and give it to state government.
Yeah.
The state government never says thank you. And the press never reports everything that's going on, and it's just frustrating right now. For me, it is.
The name is Louisiana Department of Revenue. Now, it used to be Department of Revenue and Taxation. They changed their name to get rid of the taxation. I still write checks out to Louisiana Department of Revenue and Taxation. But
that's a good idea.
And, all they do is, I can't blame them. They're collecting what the government says they need to collect, and that's fair. That's what they're supposed to do. And I just continue to say, I had a young person the other day that it was a very interesting perspective to me. This is a young person under 21, and got to talking about politics, a pretty conservative young lady, and the comment was, I don't trust anybody. They're all out for themselves. And she said, when are the people that when are the people that represent the people like me going to actually represent us? And I said, sweetheart, that's a great question that I don't know. I can't answer that.
Well, you know what? I'm going to answer it for you. And Lance Harris and some of these guys, and look, I don't always agree with Lance. I don't always agree with Byron, all these people, but let me tell you the difference. When we elect somebody, they're supposed to go represent the people.
Right.
Dallas, here's what happens. They get down there, and then they start representing municipalities, sheriff's departments. You with me?
I agree.
They start representing state government. Think about all these Democrats and some of these Republicans that did it. They forgot the taxpayers who put them in. And there's a lot more of us still than there are them.
Let me tell you.
And they start representing every municipality, every little sidewalk community. And when I say representing them, not the people, but the government part. So they go down there, and all this money that was just raised, a lot of it was passed around to local projects that you're going to get. And if you didn't vote for the new taxes, like in Lance Harris District, the governor just line out and vetoes your stuff out. I don't care if it's a waterway, whatever.
When you've got vehicles, whether it be a Ford F-250, whether you got a Dodge, whether you have a General Motors product, whether it be a GMC or Chevrolet.
Shame on them, but I know what
shame
you're
on
saying.
them. No, I'm kidding. but when you've got a vehicle like that, so many of the people in our state, there are some that drive them around. They just drive them around. But a lot of people in our state buy those vehicles. There's a work vehicle. They got welding machines in the back of it. They're carrying loads, tractors, mowing machines, whatever it may be. They're doing big construction equipment, lots of other stuff, lots of jobs in our state. When $280 to $300 a month of their note is tax, do you understand that? When they buy a vehicle like that, almost $300 a month in the note that they pay is just because of taxes.
A month.
And
so they may be paying $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a month, whatever.
$1,000 a month in a lot of cases. $300 worth is taxes. I am blown away that we've gotten to the point in our state. Now, here's what you do: go to Texas, and it's half.
And by the way,
so
it shows.
You can buy the same exact. Now, here's what's interesting. A Louisianian, everybody goes, "Oh, I'm going to Texas. I can save money." No, you won't. We all pay the same thing for vehicles. That's a crock. Yeah. So I'm going to go to Texas, save money. No, you won't. You pay Louisiana tax. If you buy it in Montana, you're still going to pay 11% tax in Monroe, whether you buy it from Montana or not. People, if you live in Texas, they pay half of what we do. So let's say $150 a month less for a vehicle, only because their state's not charging them tax.
And no income tax. We can go on and on with that. All right, Dallas, when I come back, I want you back in here with me. Daniel Erspamer is going to join us as well. Pelican Institute, you'll get a kick out of him. You may want to ask him some questions.
Sure.
He's been following this. Anyway, we'll take a break with Hixson Autoplex in Alexandria. 3 great locations. HixsonHasIt.com. HixsonHasIt.com, and you will be pleased when you work with these folks. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hixson has that hotline. Of course, we had Hixson Autoplex in Alexandria, Louisiana, in conjunction with our good friends at Sandler Broadcasting, has been putting up with us for about 17, 18 years, and we appreciate those folks tremendously. And anyway, Hixson Autoplex, HixsonHasIt.com, HixsonHasIt.com. See all the great deals Dallas and them can bring to you. All right, let's jump gears. We've got the CEO of the Pelican Institute, Daniel Erspamer, who's sitting in my seat in the studio right now. Daniel, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, keeping your seat warm for you, Moon.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Daniel, you watched all the shenanigans that's going on, and, it's kind of frustrating to me. I'm sure it's frustrating to you to believe that all of a sudden we've reached prosperity by raising more taxes. And just your thoughts on the session. What went down? What do you think will happen next?
Gosh, it's hard to look at this as anything but a disappointment. If we fast forward a few days here to July 1st, taxpayers across the state will be paying about $850 million more in taxes than they otherwise would have between the impact of the raise in taxes thanks to federal tax reform, good across the board except for right here in Louisiana, and of course the increase in the sales tax based on what it was going to go down to. So it's hard to stomach, frankly, but we've got to look forward and see what can we do next and how do we turn this ship around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Daniel Erspamer, my special guest, CEO of the Pelican Institute. Daniel, today you focus like me. I've been telling folks, I even told the governor's people, sit down with them. If they don't change the business climate in this state, and they're not going to, by the way. They're too close to trial lawyers. They need trial lawyer money for re-election, where they will get beat. Today in the Advocate, there was a big piece in the Advocate called "What Do New Industrial Tax Exemption Program Rules Mean? More Power to States' Tax Authorities." But one of the comments that were made, I shared it earlier, John Bel Edwards' executive order slowed down business development. He signs orders without knowing the consequences. It would take a long time to get these jobs back. Companies looking for a place to invest hundreds of millions of dollars need greater certainty. By the way, they didn't say greater certainty in state government's ability to pay bills. That's not what they said.
That's right.
Okay, Connie P. Fabre, Executive Director of Greater Baton Rouge Industrial Alliance. She noted the number of advance notice applications fell 35% when comparing to 21 months before Edwards' an executive order and the 21 months after, 35%. Correspondingly, the amount of planned investment dropped by 66%, and the number of proposed new jobs fell 64%. The governor doesn't get it. Your comments?
It just speaks to a fundamental problem we have in the state, which is there is no stability. There is no ability to think about what does the future hold if you're going to build a business, create an enterprise, hire people, invest in the state. And the fundamental reform that's necessary is to just create that certainty, right? Lower taxes and make sure we don't have to have things that are targeted incentives, right? When the government's picking winners and losers, we're often in a bad situation. But that's where we are right now. We have to have those incentives, or else there'll be no jobs. We've got to change that fundamentally and create a business environment and an environment for working families that they know they can live, work, and raise a family in a prosperous way from now into the future.
I just don't remember a time in Louisiana when we've done that. And let me back up. I know when oil and gas was rocking and rolling, it was a natural thing. It was a natural gift from God, and with our ingenuity and with our hardworking people in Louisiana, not only South Louisiana, all over the state, people were going to those jobs, and they were great jobs, and they paid. People went there and they retired there. They put their kids through school. They paid their mortgages. They lived, and yet with oil prices, I was sent yesterday. Louisiana crude was like $81.50. And a buddy of mine has got 11 land rigs that are all stacked right now, not working. He blames it directly to the governor. Let me tell you what he told me. He said 81.50 Louisiana light oil, all 11 barge rigs stacked. Thank you, governor. He's not working because of the lawsuits. So we got an industry that could still, if you look around and look at Dakotas and Texas and all these places, they're booming. They can't even find enough people to go to work. They got truck drivers making $140,000. Yet here it stays idle for the most part. And yet it's because of lawsuits and legacy lawsuits and the governor's friends suing the oil companies. And we just sit back and we just take it. We just watch our best and brightest leave and go to another state.
We do, and look, I drove over here this morning from New Orleans, and as you know, driving along I-10, every other billboard is a trial attorney, and I think we can track a boom in those. I guess it's good to be in the billboard industry in the last few years.
Well, I'll tell you what, the news stations too, Daniel. Every other commercial is.
That's right.
If you'd like to sue the hell out of somebody, let me be the one for you.
That's right. And look, it's almost like we're trying to stack things against jobs here. It comes from all sides, right? Whether it's the legacy lawsuits and the challenges we have in the energy industry right now, while, as you know, states all across this country are booming, not only across the board, but particularly in the energy industry. But we're hurting it on that side, and then the other side is we're making it hard, stacking the incentives against people working. I was talking to a restaurant owner just the other day, and he says he can't find people to work. Why? He postulated because we've expanded all sorts of government benefits that actually make it less good for workers. They get a better deal if they're on the Medicaid expansion and getting all these other benefits rather than taking a job. One told me his managers are now upset because he tried to give them a raise, and that pulls them out of some benefits they can get. That's crazy. I mean, this is just we're stacking the deck against job seekers and working families just from all angles, and it's not sustainable.
Well, the one thing I've said before, and I'll say it again, and I got this from somebody who evaluated this many, many years ago. He said, and I agree with him, we're making it easy to be poor here. We're making it really fashionable to be poor here. In other words, I could be poor enough to get all my benefits, but I don't have to go to work. And those people are driving, especially on the Democrat Party side, of their votes. By the way, they're black, white, green, and yellow. It's nothing to do with race. And that bothered me. He used to say that. I used to think, man, what does he really mean? Now I see it. And you just said it without saying it. You basically said the same thing that he said, that we have made it so easy for somebody to take the least resistant route to go get a check, to go get a benefit, instead of going to work and getting it.
And you and I know that there is a deep dignity to work, and we
Absolutely.
lose that in these government handouts. Look, these safety net, I think we have broad agreement across the state and across the country that these safety net programs are valuable and people are willing to chip in to pay for them. But they're intended to be just that, a safety net, something to help people bounce back up, not something to keep them there in a net that captures them. I mean, this safety net has become a captivity net, and it's a huge problem for the folks that are in it. It's hurting them, for taxpayers who can no longer afford it, and for folks looking for jobs that just can't find one. It's a huge problem. We have to turn the ship around.
But my question is, will we? And who's going to lead us to making sure that we make the business climate the most friendliest business climate you can find in the great state of Louisiana? Because I don't see the leadership of people trying to do it. It's like everybody's cutting a deal, and deal cutting's over. We're past the point. By the way, it's not courageous to compromise. The governor ran a commercial. It's courageous to compromise. That's one of the dumbest things he's ever said. He said a lot of stupid things.
Well, look, time and again, we know that people and voters respond to principled leadership. And that's casting a vision and setting out a course to achieve it. And look, we also know that politicians, bless their hearts, respond to incentives. And so unless we can get out there, educate, engage, and activate people in order to understand what change looks like, we're never going to turn the tide because the incentives are going to be aligned against us. Every incentive inside that Capitol building is arrayed against taxpayers and working families and job seekers. It is the special interests who have their hands in the cookie jar.
Let me throw something at you that me and you disagree with.
Let's hear it.
You're for a constitutional convention. I'm not. Okay. One of the reasons I'm not is that 2/3 vote on taxes and fees. I'm telling you, the left wants that more than anything. They could take that, give us everything else, and they know we're in trouble. How does a constitutional convention fix overspending? How does a constitution convention fix of 70, 80 years of just raw Louisiana politics? How does constitution convention fix all that stuff? The delegates that are going to be there. I'm just asking you, and I'm not, like I said, we disagree on this. How does that fix any of this? If we have a spending problem, and we do. If we overspending, and we do, and we overtax, and we do, I don't think a constitutional convention can fix any of that in itself. But explain that, because I know you were one of the ones that came on the program, was nice enough to come on and say, hey, this is why we need it. Somebody explain it to me. Maybe you can.
Yeah, and look, Moon, you know I appreciate this back and forth we always have. It gets us to a better place at the end of the day. And I'm going to grant your premise. It can't fix all of those things, but here's what it can do. This house is broken. The house that Huey Long built, sitting on that hill in Baton Rouge, is broken, and so it is the start to a long-term process to do all of those things you just said. We are hamstrung to do those things by the structure of our, it's almost even funny to call it a constitution, right? A constitution is supposed to lay out a set of principles, to set out guardrails, to ensure rights. Our constitution, as you well know, is one of the longest in the country. It's been amended 186 times since it was ratified in 1974. It is not so much a constitution as it is a set of laws given constitutional authority. And so when we go to tackle things like overspending, when we go to tackle things like tax reform, when we go to tackle things like legal reform, we are hamstrung by a constitution and a set of interests that prevent us from doing it. And so I absolutely agree with you. If we look at a constitutional convention as a cure-all that's going to solve all of our problems, we will lose, and it'll be worse than we were.
Yeah, let me back up with you too. The Constitutional Convention. Now, I'm not saying they hadn't been trying to have one since the last one in 73, 74, whenever it was. But the Constitutional Convention that they've been trying to have, and this is what I'm reading now, so if I'm wrong and you see it on a different angle, I want to know. Everybody talks about, well, our hands are strong because we got all these dedicated funds. And I hear lawmakers say that, and I hear the press say that. But the fact of the matter is they wouldn't have got none of that money had they not dedicated. And here's the problem. Once you dedicate money and you hand somebody a check, and they're used to getting a check, all the people that's going to be found in the Constitutional Convention are people that don't want things to be dedicated, when on the flip side, the only reason we voted for it, the only reason, I say we, I probably didn't vote for none of them, the only reason we voted was because of the dedicated funds. Now, let's do this. I know we need to go to a break. Keep in mind what I said. We'll come back and I'll let you answer that because, and this will give you 4 minutes to think about it too, Daniel. Don't let Brandon mess with you. Daniel Erspamer, who's in the house while I'm out the house, and CEO of the Pelican Institute. We'll come back and talk to him a few more minutes and ask him about these dedications and how this is really going to work. Anyway, we take a break. Hixson Autoplex, we are here, and we'll be here until 11. God bless. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on the road again. Alexandria, Louisiana, in conjunction with Sinler Broadcasting. Thank Miss Tanya for bringing a little Atwood Bakery. They didn't wipe out just about all the best stuff. We do appreciate it. Daniel Erspamer, my special guest, CEO of the Pelican Institute, and sitting in my hot seat. All right, Daniel, before we went to the break, I explained that the dedicated funds that they bicker about, they said we have to change it, that the people voted for it. They would have never voted for all that stuff if it hadn't been dedicated. But now you're talking about, let's get a Constitutional Convention, we need to undedicate this money. And I always thought that was a bogus argument to bring up about the Constitutional Convention. And the reason I think it's bogus is you try to get rid of those funds and see what happens to you. Because Brett Guyman and some of these guys tried to do that a few years ago, and they were almost murdered. And I don't mean that literally, but I mean they were beat up pretty bad politically. They just pulled the bill. So how much is this can really happen, and how much can change it?
Well, look, it's not. Let's be clear about one thing. It's not just about undedicating funds, and as you have pointed out a number of times, Moon, a lot of that can happen through the legislature. We don't need a convention to do some of
Absolutely.
that. And Sharon Hewitt and others have been a leader in doing just that, and we're grateful to them. Look, and Brandon and I were talking in the break. We've solved all the problems, by the way, and turned the state around. Part of our challenge is we don't have enough citizens who are really engaged and understand what's broken and understand how to fix it. And part of
I agree with that. I agree 100% with that.
So imagine a world in which, part of the convention is not a panacea. It does not fix everything. Imagine a world in which we have people who see this convention as an opportunity to pay attention, and we are ready to do this and get geared up.
Why do you think people, and I'm just being blunt with you, why do you think all of a sudden somebody's going to have an interest in this?
Well, here's what we know. People realize en masse across the state there is a problem. They can't find jobs. Their relatives can't find jobs. And the economy is down. There's no question about it. There is high appreciation of the problem. They also see across the board there are high levels of frustration with the way our government operates. We know this from polling. We know this from our work at the Pelican Institute and other things that have been done. And so there is a unique opportunity now, and especially as we're gearing up toward what will be one of the biggest groundswell elections and shifting elections in our state's history. There are more people paying attention now than ever have before, and we have an opportunity to make sure people understand the problems they're experiencing at home and in jobs and in their pocketbooks is directly related to that dysfunction they're seeing of their elected officials. And Moon, I think that's the real opportunity.
Well, and by the way, I hope you're right. I hope you're right on everything you said. Not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying I hope you're right. The problem is, and I like to look at the problem and fix it. You got to stop the out-migration, because I'm going to tell you, people that leave it are not poor. They're not on Medicaid. They're not getting government benefits, and they probably don't work for government. The people that are leaving are people that are entrepreneur spirit, the people that want to work, the people that have been working in oil and gas and industries here. We got a lot of people that are employed in the state of Louisiana that are what I call underemployed. They probably deserve a lot more money. And you got the best and brightest going to school and saying, you know what, my opportunities are not here. And that throws a problem in everything you said, because those are the people we need to focus that want to be here. I want to be here. You want to be here. And a lot of us want to be here. But when it comes to opportunity, most of these people are going to take the opportunity and go with it.
Yeah, and we're seeing.
And I don't want to get too far down the road, because we could have people in the Constitutional Convention that believes in a lot more government. The only thing they do is get rid of the sales tax, the 2/3 tax on taxes and fees, and that's all they pass.
No, you're right. And look, the couple of things to remember. One is if the convention if it's called and done well and goes poorly, we have a chance to vote against it at the end of the day. And there's a lot of opportunity there, but you're right. There's so much more work to be done in addition to the convention. And I think that on that, at least you and I can agree.
Yeah, no. It's not that we have a disagreement as much as we just have. I'm trying to understand your side a little better. I think you understand my side and agree with a lot of it, but you just think the next step. Anyway, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. We'll be back. Dallas Hixson when we get back. Oh, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on the road again, Alexandria, Louisiana. Hixson Autoplex. HixsonHasIt.com. And, of course, our Hixson Has It hotline, 844-766-6607. Hixson Has It hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. I appreciate Daniel coming on and talking about it. The thing about the Constitutional Convention is that I really understand where they're going with that. I do understand why people want a Constitutional Convention. It's not that I don't understand that side of it. I really do. And that's for people that really want to change the state and what's going on. But I'm scared when we get in there who's going to be in. I know I saw Jay Dawden wants to be there. John Alario is going to be there. If you got those guys, you're not going to change anything in the state using the same guys. You got to get rid of them and put somebody new. I'd like to send Dallas. I would. I really would. I think that's something you ought to run for. I think it's something you can fight. And, by the way, Dallas Hixson joined me. I'm not trying to get you to run for something. That's not what I said. But if the Constitutional Convention comes around, I think people like you would be very pragmatic, realistic, and you would really look at what we've been doing for the last 90 years and say, okay, here's 90 years of failing. Let's go to something that everybody wins.
Yeah.
And that means the citizens of our great state win. But if you don't win at the job site and you don't win with employment, you can't win.
Yeah.
Because that's got to be the trend. And I was talking to Dan. You missed some of that. And by the way, good to see you again. I know you've been busy, Daniel. Dallas, I hope you don't get sick because you've been in 100-degree weather, back into 70-degree weather, back and forth the whole morning, man. But anyway, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. I agree with what you're saying. That, and also I'm in agreement with government. We have to have government. And
I'm not anti-government.
No, I know you're not.
No, what I'm saying we're not anti-government and we're not anti-tax.
And I've had people ask me that. It's like, no, man, you have to have structure and you got to have government. And the government, without government, you have anarchy. And
could you imagine your business? You came in and said, okay, guys, y'all do what you want to do today, and you never had any semblance of organization on how to run stuff.
Yeah.
What would happen? It would be the same thing. It'd blow up. Well, we got to have government. And we do have government, and we got plenty of it.
And we do have plenty of it. And the government provides certain things. There's certain securities the government provides to its people, like paths to be able to travel. So our road systems, whether it's the federal and the state work together for that, but whether it's our road systems and our infrastructure and public areas that we have to have, and so all of those are really important things that are a part.
Absolutely.
But government, without government, you have chaos. But when government starts to overreach, you also have chaos. And so we've reached the point in our state where, and what some people miss the point of understanding is we have chaos in our state right now. And a lot of people think that to curb the chaos, let's put more government on the situation. We don't have enough government. That's why there's chaos. No. The reason why we have chaos is because government's past the tipping point and they're actually creating the chaos.
They are.
And so that's where some backing off of some regulation and other things would help us.
Dallas, I know you saw this probably. I know I saw it firsthand. Think about a leader. And what you do is team in with the media, a lot of the press, at least the printed press. You go out there, you're scared of nursing homes. You're scared of hospital workers.
Sure.
You're scared of the sheriff's department's going to let 10,000 people go. You're scared of top students, so they're not going to go to college.
They feel like they're not going to have an education.
You're scared of higher ed. You're scared of K through 12. You're scared. How much of that happened now that it's over? Zero.
Yeah.
And you were asking for twice the money, and you got half the money, and now everything is healed? Everything's done?
Let me tell you, Moon, there's my father's a great example. And he's the guy that'll tell you. I think my dad's been a model of this. I've known my whole life. I've watched him in business, and it's and I'll term it to this. This is my terminology, not anybody else's, and I'm not pushing this on a bunch of other people.
Sure, I understand.
His terminology is Christ-centered leadership. It's servant leadership. My dad has I'll say hatred. That's not the right word.
By the way, the greatest leadership of all is watching Christ lead by what? Example and how he lived.
My dad has a hatred for the process of management by fear, leadership, but management by fear. It's not leadership. Leadership goes through humility. When you manage people,
I like that, management by fear. That's what we just finished
watching. That's exactly where we are. And I've been taught my whole life, even threatened by my dad, you will never operate a business I'm a part of through fear. I've been treated that way as an employee for different places where I've worked, where I feared my boss. Did he get something out of me? Sure he did, man. I was scared to death of the guy. But in working with for my father, and now with my father and my brother, the different type of leadership that he has is a servant leadership. My dad's, the higher up in our company you go, the more you're called upon to demonstrate humility and servitude.
Probably the more you work, more time you put in.
Absolutely. And don't tell people to pick up trash.
I think your dad had a lot of wisdom because let me go back to what you said. Management by fear, but the biggest one is leadership by fear, is what I watched for the last 4 months. And I'm sorry people get mad. When you telling people you're going to lose your job and you're going to lose this and you're not going to have health care, come on, man, that was never going to happen. That's strictly by fear.
And there's two types of fear that people manage by. Leaders don't manage fear. I mean, leaders don't participate in fear. Managers do. There's two types of management. Number one is direct fear. I'm going to threaten you to do your job. And the other one is fear of loss. I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to threaten you, but I'm going to tell you that, man, if you do this, you'll lose your benefits, you'll lose your job, you'll lose your home, and I'm going to threaten you through fear of loss. And we've had those things happen. That's just not the way. I've been taught that's not the way things need to be
Actually,
done.
Dallas, now that you said that, and I know your dad. Your dad does have a lot of wisdom. I've visited with your dad on many occasions. Wish I could just go eat with him and pick his brain because I think he's that type person that you'd want to sit down and listen to. And the leadership by fear is exactly what I've watched since I've been covering this program, since I've been covering the state stuff in the last 20, 25 years. Every time somebody needed something, they got to scare people to get what they want. That's leadership by fear.
It doesn't work.
And I'm telling you, you may have got what you wanted, but in the long run, you will get beat and nothing will be accomplished.
You know, Moon, one of the things that concerns me is I'm watching our president, I'm watching Chuck Schumer, I'm watching our national Congress in the White House, and even Barack Obama was that way to some extent. And Trump is more of a fear, I'm threatening you. Barack Obama was more of a fear of loss. Either one of those, that's just not the leadership I respond. So even though I like some of the things that are taking place, I can approve the effort, but not the method, if that makes any sense.
No, it does, because what you're saying is, okay, you're trying to get from point A to B. And there's ways to get to A to B.
And I'm telling you,
but the method that they're using is not the way to get to A to B, and to be honest and to be upfront. That's what you're saying, Dallas. Matter of fact, if me and Terry sat right here, and you said, this is the task I got for you and Terry. And I did it one way, and he did it the other. And we got to the same results, and it was ethical. It was the right thing to do. You know, I didn't think about it that way. I thought about it this way. Fine. But if I get there, and Terry got there bullying 4 employees, you're going to tell Terry, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's not what I need. Terry, by the way, I threw you under the bus, but don't worry about it.
You know, it goes back to the old deal about, hey, enjoy the not just the destination.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the journey. And so to me, and I'm not saying we're a perfect company, man. We've got mistakes that we make.
Everybody does.
We all do. But I'm telling you that the effort that we make puts a lot of emphasis. When I go from A to B, a lot of what my dad judges me by is, hey, did you get to B like we were supposed to? And it's just as important to him, if not more important, how did you get there? And so that
was kind of like when you took a math test. Sometimes they would let you just put the answer.
Yeah, and sometimes you had to show your work.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so when I would get called in every time I had to show my work, how do you get that? They'd say, there's no way to get there. And I'd say, I did it the Moon way.
Yeah. I did that off copying off my neighbor's paper. I couldn't
By the way, if he would have pushed his paper a little closer over, I would have got that right too.
Exactly.
But I see your point. I think what you just said today, we're going to take a break, is a mouthful for everybody. Leadership by fear is what we just finished watching. You know, Trump's not doing leadership by fear, but look at Schumer and them. By the way, the two Republicans, Corker and Flake, now are saying they're gonna shoot down a Supreme Court nominee.
Flake is a flake.
I know, but both of those guys, Republicans, got elected, and they getting ready to cause a big problem.
Obstructionist. Yep.
Yeah. All right, quick break, Dallas. We'll come back one more segment. Let him sell a few vehicles. We'll be right back. Oh, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. We're on the road, Hixson Autoplex in Alexandria, Louisiana. We do want to thank, once again, Center Broadcast, and we really humbled to be part of that team. And Mr. Charlie, Mr. Taylor, we appreciate it. Those are the guys that gave us a shot at this, and we're so thankful for that staff and the salespeople that worked with us through the years, and just humbled to still be hanging around, I can promise you. I hadn't been there 20 years, but we're closing in on it. Probably about 18 years here in Alexandria, and that's humbling in itself. I guess I need to go take them guys, take them out to eat or something. Yeah, so y'all got a roost, Chris, here? No, we don't. Okay, good. Hey, good. That saved me a few dollars right there if y'all don't have that in there. 844-766-6607. Hixson has a hotline. All right. Dallas, let's just jump in the vehicle business right now. Give us a deal what's going on nationwide and what's going on. Then what's going on with your company as far as what kind of deals y'all working. I know it's summertime. I know we got kids going to school.
Sure.
Got people buying vehicles, people turning 16. I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
You know, the car business across the country is pretty robust. The month of June has been nationally a little off. But right now you've got great incentives, great interest rates. Even though interest rates have ticked up, a lot of people have been worried about that. Even people with challenge credit can still get great interest rates. Lots of vehicles still at 0% for even 72 months. And what's interesting is even 0% for 72 months.
I can't believe you're saying that because I've been watching interest rates go up. I figured the car business would be hit too.
Yeah, and the car interest rates will rise at some point, but manufacturers have done a pretty good job of mitigating that. Across the board, all brands, all lines, really well. So we've got some great things going on at Ford. You know, I just was out with Mazda a moment ago. The CX-5, car and driver, a top pick of car and driver in the compact SUV market, and it's phenomenal. I mean, we have so many different vehicles to offer. Of course, the Explorer, the brand new 2018 Expedition. Moon, I tell you, I was in an accident 2 weeks ago.
By the way, I was not with him and I was not driving. I just wanted that to be set up front because
2 weeks ago yesterday, I had the chance to test out the new safety restraint system in the new Expedition. Bless her heart, I had a lady that I saw approaching an intersection, and man, I tell you, she wasn't looking, and I had fortunately saw her coming and tapped my brakes and didn't think she was going to pull out, and just as I kind of relaxed and okay, she's not going to pull out, she pulled right out in front of me. So I had slowed down to about 30 miles an hour at that point, and she.
Can we say whose fault it is on the air?
Oh, it was hers.
And, how do we get her number? We're going to let her call in real quick. I'm joking with her.
She admitted that. She told the state trooper that. She told her insurance company that. So I appreciate the honesty. And look, I'm telling you, pulled right out in front of me, 50 feet from me. I was going 30 miles an hour. And, man, I stood on the brakes, and that thing did exactly what it was supposed to do. The crash avoidance, all the other stuff kicked in. And I tell you, if it wasn't for a lot of that, the young lady would not be alive today. And so not only did I walk away unhurt, she walked away unhurt. And
that's a good thing.
Oh, my goodness.
But that goes to the technology. I know we pay a lot more for vehicles, but it's those technologies that's
there. And Moon, I tell you, a lot of the technology in these new Expeditions, these new aluminum vehicles, you just don't – it's there, and you hope to goodness you don't ever have to use it. But I'm telling you, that lady walked away with her life because that technology was in the vehicle I was driving. And had I been driving – some of the other vehicles that at that particular place where I was, I've got a used vehicle that's got a big winch on the front of it. And had I been in that vehicle that doesn't have, it's not new, it's an older vehicle without the technology, that winch would have gone through her window and taken her head off. And so the fact that
the technology is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. So we've got a lot of great things going on. We have a great inventory right now. We've worked so hard. Our inventory, new and used vehicles, every price category, cars, trucks, SUVs. We have so many certified pre-owned vehicles that have special interest rates of their own. We are very, very fortunate. And I'm going to throw this
because I understand every car dealership would want to sell nothing but new vehicles if they could.
Sure.
But y'all do have an inventory of used vehicles as well. From all kind of prices?
We have a phenomenal shop. Everything we sell, it's mandatory. We waiver none. It's got to go through our shop. It's got to pass an inspection, whether it's a certified pre-owned inspection for the manufacturer or just certified for us. If it's an offer.
Well, I know you get people coming in and say,
Absolutely.
Dallas, I got this vehicle. It's got 137,000 miles on it. I want to trade it in.
Yeah.
So when you're taking a trade,
Sure.
you're doing all that. Then you take the vehicle. Do you sell that directly back out to
No,
the public,
a lot of
or
times,
not necessarily?
we actually have we're fortunate with the experience of our people. When they trade in higher mileage vehicles, that's not necessarily something I can use. We still have the opportunity to give our customer a good trade-in value because we have, with the number of stores we have and the contacts we have, we've got the ability to send that vehicle to some places that will provide good money for it, even though we don't need it. Other people do in other parts of the country. And so it still allows me to give a great trade-in to my consumer without having to put it on our lot and sell something we would not normally sell. We do have higher mileage vehicles, but, man, they got to go through a rigorous inspection for us to put them out there.
Well, I know if you're selling one
sure.
that has high miles, and I've bought high mile vehicles before,
sure.
okay? And my point being is if you buy, and I always tell this, now, people are going to probably get mad at this.
Yep.
I would much rather buy a high mile vehicle from a Hixson Autoplex or someone like y'all, but I'm going to say you in this case. Because I believe when you put it out there, it might have had 120 or 30 or 60, 80, whatever you consider high miles. But I do feel like that if I got a problem, I can come see Hixson Autoplex. And to me, that would be important.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know what those vehicles
have
been.
You know, this is the old car saying. It's not necessarily the most correct cliche to say on the radio, but we don't want any bodies in the trunk. So we want these vehicles looked at. We want them clean.
Y'all detail them and all that. That's what I was saying.
But that's like the expedition with the safety restraint system and that crash avoidance. You don't even know it's there. You hope you don't ever have to use it, but when it kicks in, you're like, oh my gosh, this vehicle's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so same thing with used cars. Anybody can clean a used car up, make it look nice. Underneath, what did you do to it? Did you change the filters?
Engine,
did you service
stuff,
it? Did you really look at the transmission and the brakes and the tire tread depth and all the other
things? You got professionals here.
They're phenomenal.
By the way, I use your service department too. I know Terry does it all the time too. Those guys go deep into the vehicle. So if you have a major problem, and I say, man, I really want this vehicle, man, you got problems.
Yep.
We're going to have to do this to get it back to where it was at.
I'll tell you this, and it's a challenging way to look at it. James, who's in charge of all of our stores for service operations, and Brady with parts, they literally look at a vehicle with the mindset, why would we not want to own this? And I know that's the opposite of what most people would think. How can I fix it just enough to get it out there? They're looking at it from the mindset, why would we not want to own this?
So when I trade mine in, that's what they say.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm telling you, what people realize, it's too short-sighted to look at just, hey, I'm going to stick it out there and sell it. Because I know if I sell something like that, people are going to come back. They're going to be mad. They're not going to be happy. So we go to great lengths to make sure. Is it mechanical? Sure. Brand new vehicles are mechanical, and they break. It doesn't matter what brand it is. They all do.
I know.
And so we do our level dead best to make sure that we put these things through the ringer, that we've observed every issue, every concern, that we've addressed it and fixed it. So when we put it out there, we shouldn't have to apologize for. I don't want my salespeople to be put in a position where they have to apologize for something sitting out here that's supposed to be for retail sale.
Good point. Good point. And that's the little.
That's our philosophy.
Well, that's the little thing
that. Hard at that.
Well, that's the little things that you can come on air and tell people. Somebody
Sure.
going down the road and say, "Man, because I know y'all get calls all over the place with us." And somebody may call, "Man, all the way to Alexandria." Well, you know what? This guy right here sounds like he's going to do what he says. I'm going to go give him a shot. And what do you always say on this program? Give us a shot at it.
Yep.
Let us earn it. Let us earn it.
You give us the opportunity. I'm not asking anybody to give us their business. I stand by my people. You know, I'm one person in a company of 400 people. I'm one small part of what we do, but our people are empowered to make decisions and do things and fix things and take care of customers and do the right thing. And so give us an opportunity, and I think you'll be impressed enough that we're going to really work hard to try to earn your business. Do we earn everybody's? No. But we're going to work really hard. And I think that there are some people that decide, you know what, I'm going to go with the brand that Hixson doesn't sell. But I still think that those people have in the back of their mind, it still triggers that little thing that, well, I'm going to go with this brand, but man, they were so good to me. I hate to pass that up. And so I know that we have a few customers that have told me this. Ford's not their favorite brand, but I feel blessed and honored that they still buy from us because they feel like they're buying a piece of the dealership when they buy it, and we take care of them.
That's amazing. When I grew up, my daddy wouldn't have nothing but a Ford.
Yep.
And all his buddies had something else, and that's what he drove, and that's what we drove. And I'm still driving a Ford today, and
let me tell you what's funny.
I'm almost 45 years old.
My dad was a massive Chevrolet guy.
Was it
massive? Yeah, and he had so much trouble with Chevrolets, started buying Fords. That's what led him into the Ford business. How about that? Huh?
Hixson has it.
True story.
HixsonHasIt.com. Can find everything they need.
Give us an opportunity. We're going to work hard to earn your business.
And tell them how much you love the Moon Griffon show, right?
Yep, exactly. How much you love Dallas more than Moon? That'll give you a discount.
Oh my God, you're gonna get rattled today. All right, folks. God bless. See you tomorrow in studio, Dallas. Once again, God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Moon. Thank you so much.
We got to get out of here. See you tomorrow.